Wow, this is a really good day to be inside. Can you hear the rain? I mean, look at the rain out. I don't know if you can see out the window, but man, it is coming down in sheets. I love Colorado summers and our thunderstorm. It's not nice to be caught outside in one, but hey, this is pretty cool. I'm in our production facility, and fortunately we have windows all throughout our building, which is kind of neat. Whoa. And minutes ago we had golf ball sized hail, and I hope my car survives. Just got a new car. Oh well, it's stopping. All right, let's see. How much setup care goes into voicing? Simon from Toronto, Canada wants to know, and he asks, I realize the resolution of the system will determine how much difference one can hear, but is there an end point to this madness? Probably not. I hope not. High mass, rigid, low mass, pointy feet. I don't even want to get into the resonant dots of blocks and things that help, tweaks, that help here. The thing is, they all can change the sound. Oh, maybe that's more hail coming. Yep, I can see it out there. Well, let's hope we survive. Hope I got my insurance on that car. Do you just plop it on a desk when you voice it, or put it into a fancy rack? I see that you guys don't use those fancy racks in Music Room 1, but rather a very industrial looking support. Would greatly appreciate your insight. Wow. Okay, all right. Well, I'm glad we're here inside our safe little environment, unless the roof crashes in. So, do we do anything special when we voice? Let's talk about what voicing is in the first place. And we go through a process of design that is both done through a number of stages. It's both done on the drawing board, where we do the schematics and we dream up the processes, and we design it on paper first. And a lot of this comes from 45 years of doing this. You know that if your specific goal is to, this or that, basically the kind of circuitry that you want. So you put that into a schematic, and you mentally can tell that it's probably going to work. Then you breadboard it. So we'll build depending on the complexity of it, whether it uses surface mount parts or whether it uses through-hole parts. In the old days, there were no such thing as surface mount parts, so I built everything on little pushpin boards, and then I could get it to measure the way I wanted, look the way I wanted on the scope. Then we would hook the whole thing up and bring it into the music room. And we still do that same thing. It's a little bit more complicated today, especially when you have a lot of digital stuff. But whatever the process, once we get it to measure the way we want, and we're happy with all the parameters, then phase 2 or 5 of the process comes into play. And that's when we take it into the sound room, we plop it down, we hook it up, and we start listening to it and comparing it to known references. And so the question is, and then by voicing, if we don't like the way it sounds, here's the place where we can start changing components, values, add more current here, change this from a passive, just a resistor, to an active current source. We can change the input from a BJT transistor to a JFET, because in this particular instance it's sounding a little bit harder than we would like. It doesn't quite sound like music, so we could add a JFET or a MOSFET depending on the application, and that would bring us a little bit sweeter, a little less attention to those upper areas, but then we might lose it. It's a long process, voicing, and we have a number of musical sources that we use, so it's quite involved. It sometimes takes months. Sometimes it sends you back to the drawing board because it just isn't working out the way you want. In any case, specifically answering his question, no, we don't do any of the tweaky things like resonance canceling devices, and I'll tell you why. We do, cables are important. We have our reference cable sets, and we have duplicates of them so that we make sure that the cabling that we use, both power and audio, are identical between the reference piece and the device under test. That said, the rest of it we don't, because we have to design for the broadest of applications. We have to make our products sound good for the person who's real tweaky and goes to every extreme, dangling it from the air, putting it on helium balloons, whatever they do. That's all going to maybe enhance what's there. But if what's there isn't right in the first place, then all those tweaks only go to make it acceptable, not wonderful, not as good as it possibly could be. So I don't want to start with tweaks. I want to start with the basics. Plop it down on a shelf, hook it up, let it burn in, start listening, comparing, making the changes. So those are big, gross differences that we hear. Get those right, and then when you add your dots and your stuff, bingo, it's better. All right, thanks for the question. Good one too. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.